Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much. And if you're coming across this channel for the very first time, please do well to subscribe and turn on your post notifications so that you get notified of every post we make. Every time we make new videos, you'll be the first to get to know about them. Yes, my name is Augusta Iberi Onodafe, and on this channel we talk about everything relocating to the UK, being an international student, transitioning into tech, and life in between, as it comes. So today, from the topic you'd already know, we are talking about relocating to the UK as an international student. I am going to be giving you the easy steps to relocate down here in the UK as an international student or as a dependent to an international student. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. So the first step we'll be talking about are the documents needed. Now, as an international student, there are definitely some documents you'll be needing to put in your application to whichever university you're choosing to. And the documents are your statement of purpose, your international passport, your reference letter either from your school or from an employer or someone that knows you. You also have your transcript, and you also need your certificate, very importantly. Now, another step is deciding on the course you're going for. It is important for you to decide on which of the course am I going for. Like all the time I see lots of people, make rash decision on these things. They don't really take their time to properly decide on the courses they are going for. Now, I know that everybody, or if you're deciding to come over here as an international student, you will not want to spend so much doing a course that is not relevant here in the UK. So the first thing to think about is the relevancy of your course. And I would always advise people to go to the UK website to check for the job shortage list. One thing about UK is that whatever information you'll be needing, it's already on the website. So you just go over to the website, check on, or just type on job shortage list in the UK, and you would see a lot of the available courses that the UK government really needs people to fill in to. So that is one step. Deciding on the course, it is very, very important. Now, another step is deciding on the school. Now, when deciding on this school, it is important that you put a lot of things into check. One is your tuition fee, one is the ranking of the school, another is the number of international students in the school. It is important that you check for all of these things when making your decision so that you get the best out of all of the money you'll be spending. And another thing is compare the schools. It is important to also note that you should not apply to just one school. You have to apply to as much schools as possible. I would recommend 3-4 schools as much as possible, because you may feel relaxed with one particular school, and at the end of the day, you don't get admitted, or they don't take you. So it's important that you apply to as much schools, and also, compare schools. Very, very important. Compare schools based on all of the list I actually mentioned before now. When drafting your SOP, it is important that the schools usually ask you, like, why my school, why the UK? So it is important that you put all of this, into consideration before, drafting your SOP. Why are you applying to this particular school? How is this course going to help you in the future? Each schools would love to hear about it. Why? There are so many schools in the UK. Why are you choosing these schools? And how does this course, or how does this school, how will it help you in your future? How will this course, do you have a career plan in mind? How does this course come in place? These are some of the important things that each of the schools will want to hear from you when writing your SOP. Now, after all of these things has been said, it is time for you to apply to the school. Now, it is time for you to put in your applications. A lot of students would want to go through agents, while some would want to do it themselves. I am one of those students that did the application by themselves. So if you would want to go to an agent, the school has accredited agents that they work with or you can still do it on yourself. And if you decide to do it by yourself, it is best to use the approved school website. Please go to the website and apply. And if you decide to still use an agent, please work hand in hand with your agent. Don't leave everything for the agent. You have to be carried along. Very, very importantly, this is the most important part I really want to talk about. Like, from the previous video I made, I got a question. Someone asked what was the rough estimate I used, like what was the expenses I incurred during my own time. So from that, I will just have to give you a rough estimate of what I spent on the expenses, and I'm sure from that you could have an idea on how to go about yours. So at the time I applied, my international passport was 45,000 naira. So over time, I think it has increased with the situation of Nigeria and the economy and all of that. I think it has gone up to 60,000, even higher than that. So put it in mind that. And if you're planning to apply also as an international student, please put it in mind to apply for your international passport if you don't have it as early as possible, because of the delay in issuing the booklets now. So after that, when my admission letter got to me, I was asked to make a deposit of £1,000. Now, the deposit you could make, depending on the school, could be as low as 1,000 and could be as high as £5,500. This is another thing you should put into consideration when applying to any school. Like, is the tuition fee high? How is their plan? How is their payment plan? Like, do I have to make all the payments from Nigeria before I move over to the UK, or before I can be issued a card, or do I have to just make a part payment? So I made a payment of £1,000, and in Nigeria, roughly, as at the time I made it, Nigerian to pound was around 700 and something. But then the CBN uses the UK government uses CBN rate, which was around £504 as at the time I made my own payment. Another thing is your proof of your POF, which is the proof of fund for your class. Now, after making your first deposit, the school expects you to have a particular amount of money already running in your account, which you would account for, which you have to show to them before they can issue you your card. Your card simply means your confirmation of acceptance of statement, which means, yes, I think your card is one of the documents you would use for your visa application. So before you can get that, some schools, not all schools, there are some schools that would not ask for your proof of fund. Like my school did not have to ask me for my proof of fund. So yeah, some schools ask for it, some schools don't ask for it. So for the proof of fund, you could either get the money from a relative, or from your father, your parents, any of them, or from relatives, or also I think there are bodies in Nigeria that help with that as well. Then I had to make, after that I applied for my TB test, and my TB test as at then was 58,000 naira, and then I paid for my IHS fee. My IHS fee was in dollar, but I'm converting it to pound, and in pounds I paid around £704, and £704 times multiplied by the current currency exchange, you get the amount. And the visa free application was around $498 also, but currently I think it's around $550 something. My flights, I paid $250. I used Kenya Airways, and I would want to tell you that it was my first time flying both internationally and locally, and I enjoyed every of their treatment. It was a long flight though, but I enjoyed it. So yes, I paid around $250 for that, and if you convert it to naira now, I think it will be around 300 and something now with the currency exchange now. And then also I made my first installment payment. This is also very important. A lot of schools have their payment plans, and some schools could have up to 3 payment plans depending on the school. So my school has about 3 payment plan, except you have an understanding with the school. So for the installment, I made about £3,993 to complete my first installment. I made around, and if you convert it to naira using the current rate, I think you could get that. You would have an idea of how much I spent. And then for accommodation, I paid around £475 monthly. And I would also want to let you know that I did not make any payment from Nigeria for my accommodation. I had to get down to the UK first because a lot of landlords would want you to be in the UK first before they could give you houses. So that was what I had to do. I had to come down over to the UK and then sort accommodation out for myself, and I paid around £475. And then money at hand. For me, when I was coming to the UK, I had about 1 million at hand, 1 million naira at hand, and that also covered for my accommodation for about 3 months. So depending on you, on your pocket, on your family, on how buoyant you are, you could come with as much as you can afford. There is no specific amount that you have to come with. And yes, this, bringing all of this together, I think I spent roughly around £8,000. And if you convert it to naira, I wouldn't know, about roughly 6.57 million naira was what I spent in total. So yes, you could spend lesser, you could spend higher depending on the school and depending on certain factors, like did you have to come into the UK first before you made your first installment? Because I made my first installment while still in Nigeria because I wasted time in Nigeria. So yes, these are all of the things you have to check in place or put in place, make all of this list down to know the actual amount you would be needing for your movement. And also, very importantly, check on the school website to get all of these things that I've said, all of the ones you think you can get from the school, and make a proper research. So if you enjoyed this video, please do well to give me a thumbs up, just share it, and please expect my next video. Thank you very much.